game.
It would have been a good one to go for, and one get it.
Yeah.
Well, they got an off week this week, then they're playing in Boston Town.
Yeah, they have 5 weeks.
Yeah.
Okay, I'd like to call the meeting to order, the Watertown Park and Recreation Crestwood Park Golf Course Subcommittee special meeting. Let's have a roll call.
Michael, John McGrath.
Pat Ronaldi. The reason for the meeting is to discuss and take action on the 2026 golf rate and green fees for next year. Proposed fees for next year. What I'd like to do is maybe start off by maybe having Michael and Marty go through the increases. I know there were some modifications from the last meeting, but explain some of the things now that you are addressing and why.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Michael Game. I'm the Director of Parks and Recreation. I'm going to pull up the packet for that was on the internet tonight. Give me a second here. Hopefully I can get to it. No, not that one. So we're continuing our discussion. Last month we met and talked about. We presented a draft of our fees for next year. It's been brought to my attention. Is this big enough on your board?
Maybe you can make it a little bit bigger. Do all that. That's better.
There were a couple of items that were brought to our attention that were omitted from this list, and there's some reasoning behind that. We can address those. A few of them that are not on the list is youth, right? Is no longer there.
So since we've been part of Youth on Course now for I believe 3 seasons, we haven't really sold a junior membership because financially doesn't make sense for either party. It's a nationwide program that's subsidized by Bank of America and the Youth on Course organization based on the people that are paying into it. So for example, this year it cost about $40 for a kid to sign up to be a member of Youth on Course. Now that gives them access to thousands of courses across the country, and I believe there's 9 courses in the state, which we're one of them. And we've gotten, actually in May of this year, it was on the news that, Crestwood was part of that, list of golf courses. Mark Bayram was actually the one they interviewed for it. So that program, we get a back end stipend for allowing the kids to play. They pay a $3 and $5 fee, which is essentially the same as if we sold them a membership. It would be $275, and they'd have to spend $4 every time they come, and they're restricted to just this golf course. So it was kind of a great thing to be a part of. Now, if they do get rid of that, program, which I don't see that happening, it's just continues to grow. But if they were to ever, then that would be a time to address, a junior membership rate as far as that goes.
So there's the junior, the senior, the college. Did I miss one?
The military rates that you're proposing now.
Well, no, just the ones that are missing though. The college, the junior, the senior.
Family. And then anything with executive membership.
Yeah. So just what are the statuses of those?
So some of the things that we try to accomplish is to have less choices for that, so we can simplify the data in and data out and reporting and such. We talked about what was just let's do those one by one.
Yeah,
I think
the junior you wanted to eliminate because we have the youth on.
Yep, the Youth on Course. Let's hit the college one next.
Okay.
Because we're offering this monthly pass that we've never offered before, that would basically fill in for your snowbirds, your college golfers. They now have the option to you know, the 4 months that they're back from school or whatever it may be, they can buy that monthly membership there. And honestly, we have so few of those memberships that are being sold right now as well.
So we wanna eliminate that one and replace it with the monthly.
With the monthly, yeah, and they have the option to do 4 and 7 day.
Okay, so junior college, senior,
The senior would be replaced with the 2 new senior categories that we're offering, the senior unlimited and the senior 4 day.
oh, that's that one, okay.
Yep,
For some reason I thought it was something else.
that's still there. Actually giving them more, you know, options if, you know.
Yeah, we'll
they don't
talk
wanna
about
go with
those.
That high of a price increase. And the military is still on there unrestricted.
Just.
We'll talk, we'll go up to those in a second.
Okay.
Just wanted to talk about the ones we don't speak.
Okay, yep,
So the family, I think, is the other one.
yep, and the executives,
Executive, yeah.
all those executives, we were gonna keep the same. The family one, we were gonna eliminate just because, again, we were finding that it was maybe, you know, 4 that we were selling,
Right.
you know, and even like the financials of it were more confusing with, you know, how that worked.
All right,
And some
so
of the reporting in the
so
system.
we want to eliminate that one due to non-use and
Yeah.
simplifying.
Yep,
What we
and
got.
at one point, I think there was like a pool membership attached to that, which is no longer offered as well, so.
Okay. Any questions from anybody about the junior, the college, the family and the executive?
So part of what I'm going to revert back to
Yeah.
is I have some slides that I can show you that compare the rates from. I think a couple of years back anyway, so that we can show what we charged a couple of years ago, last year, and what we're proposing for next year, so we can see. The trend of how the rates have worked. I believe when we circle back to, if we want to discuss each of these lines, when we come to that. There may have been a rationale about the military, I don't know if it was originally restricted or not, because it was 425 last year, so I don't know if that's something that we failed to.
Or maybe it's an error, key error.
Last year was 425.
Yeah, here's the rating smart.
This is for this year.
Yeah,
Alright, so we'll circle back to that.
no,
465.
It was 465.
465, Marty, is what we had, so I don't know if that one was a
We
mistake.
didn't raise the rates from 2024 to 2025, so the 2025 rates right here. Reflect.
So is that, so should that have been 665? Did we do that?
No, we're saying 625 is too high. Or yeah, this would have been.
No, that wouldn't be 825, so we did the same thing on that. It's
The
just-
military resident was 465, the non-resident was 570.
Alright, surcharge included or not?
No,
No, I don't think so.
So then that one was the same thing that we did originally with the senior, and we went up 200, but we put it in the wrong column, I'm guessing.
Okay.
Cause that should be 6.
Alright, so when we circle back to the sheet, what I'll do is I can modify it.
The spreadsheet.
If this commission so chooses, we will vote on the amended,
Yes,
right?
Yeah.
As amended type of thing. So would you like to see, so just, since we last met, I spoke with Attorney Jessel. And we're diving into learn more about the enterprise fund and how that works.
Yeah.
I met with the town manager and discussed this proposal and how we're trending with our revenues and how that we're trending in the right direction. The business model that we're trying to apply to this seemed to be favorable. I also met with the finance director and discussed these scenarios with her. It appears if we continue on the trend of our revenue exceeding our expenses. I believe it's in the best interest for us to recommend to the town council, if we end the year as projected, which we won't know that for a couple of more months. We may want to ask them to to make an investment back into the course so that we can hit some of the items that were brought to our attention, a lot of them of which we've already known and we want to do, but now that we're able to display the trend and be as transparent as we can. If we can try to start lining, because Our next budget is not gonna be approved until July 1st. That means we really can't do too much planning to do certain things until after July 1st, but because of where it appears we're going to land. I'd like for us to eventually propose before the budget process starts. That based on these numbers, that we make an investment, and that number is gonna have to be, will have to be determined. That way we can start planning to do these things to maybe
Prior to
get some
July.
of them started. Well, we can at least start planning before July and
Sure.
hope that we can begin to execute some of that stuff as soon as we can.
Okay.
You know, some of it may be done in the spring, some of it may not, that's hard to determine right now. So that was good. So now I can bring your attention to the rates that were, so in 23. The Crestbrook rates are listed here. Now, again, we're taking some. It's not exactly apples to apples, but to continue to use, you know,
Yeah.
language that's outdated and things like that, we've gotta. Try to simplify things, make sure that it works with the simplification of people using telephones to load in all kinds of variables that we talk about. So you'll see in the 23 Crestbrook rates, which was, you know, we're now talking about 2026, that's 3 years later. So if we were to go back to that original slide, we would want to, you would see that the rates have not been increased significantly or at all since 2023.
Mhm.
And maybe even before that, I haven't gone look prior to 2023, I didn't think it served much of a purpose beyond that. That said, we have adjusted car prices, right? So that was probably a couple years ago when we signed a new cart lease. That because the cart lease, it got more expensive. And we had to cover some of that expense. That expense was passed on to the golfers. But because that rate was passed on to the golfers, it was this commission's feelings that we didn't want to increase the other rates. So to reiterate where we started from, what we're trying to do is project what we're going to invest at the golf course starting next July 2026 through June 20, whatever that's gonna be. And project how much we're gonna spend, and then we calculated that spreadsheet and the rates that were on the screen earlier to try to cover that budget. And you can see that the numbers, the expenses are projected to be more than what the fees are going to cover. So we will be looking for public support on this. And then our 24 seasons pass, again, you can see really the only thing that's changed is the year, and then all the columns are the same. And then the other thing that I could show you, I could go back to, does anybody need to see any of the materials that we reviewed last month in terms of where we think the budget's gonna land? I think that's in your packet now.
Mike, I just wanted to affirm so that everybody realizes that a lot of the rates from 2023 and 2024 were the same in 2025. Although our expenses didn't stay the same, those have gone. So that's an important thing to ensure that everybody understands that.
2023 rates in some categories were raised, but 2024.
True.
2024, because we had a problem with the pros contract, we didn't know if Marty was coming back. And everything was directed at the pros contract, conversations, paperwork, anything that was done. And by the time that was finalized, that Marty was coming back, we ran out of time because we had to have everything published for the papers, had to have everything ready to go for our rates that were gonna be used for Christmas gifts and stuff like that.
Right.
So at that time, we had to bite the bullet and say, well, we're not raising the rates. We wanted to raise them a little bit from 2024 to 2025. But that didn't happen.
Right.
Because we were tied up with the golf pros contract.
Yeah.
Once that was out of the way, it was too late. So that's why you can say that we had 1 year where we didn't raise them when they should have went up a little bit.
They should have, and we didn't.
We did,
Or
but we
whatever the reason, but we
we
did.
tied our hands
Yeah.
behind one.
Yeah.
We did.
And I mean, on top of that, just looking at our budgets changes from year to year, 2023, I believe it was 809,000, 24, 834, and now we're at 964 for this current budget, you know, so our rates definitely haven't reflected that. You know, and that's how we came up with that senior rate increase there was 15% increase based off of our 15% increase in the budget.
Right.
Which I actually say we would basically be applying that to the same with the military rate, basically, to keep that in mind.
Okay.
Now, I don't believe military was ever restricted. You know. That category, you know, is definitely, I would say, your most undervalued as far as, you know, the best bargain for sure. And I mean, I know we appreciate everybody's service, but I still think, you know, where you're gonna be at it'd be like $625 for 7-day all access to the golf courses, you know, substantial, but.
And one of the conversations I've already had about the military is a lot of the categories have a resident rate and a non-resident rate.
Yeah.
As far as, you know,
Military.
we both agreed that you serve this country. and
Doesn't matter what town
therefore,
you're in,
it doesn't matter, so I think we blended. What we would capture in revenue by charging non-resident fee and averaging that cost out to make it.
Right, and I looked at other courses, most other courses don't even offer a military rate. And if they do, it's active duty military, you know, which.
Sure, but
You know, that's a big. You know,
I understand combining it, but the fact is still though that
well, that's.
I think it's in there 625 versus 575
Yeah.
for.
Well, I mean, I think the 825 wouldn't be way off, I think the 625 would be more.
The six
We're just
forty-five
saying,
is your 26.
right,
Cost,
Right.
cause it's 475,
yeah.
so. we gotta-
625 for the military.
No. You have 625 for
Right.
last year, the
Right.
actual is 465.
Right, so
So you-
that would be the proposed 26.
So we're proposing 625.
Right, versus 825.
And you're breaking it down from 2 rates to 1, because you have military resident, military non-resident.
Right.
Okay, so,
So we are eliminating the non-resident, just having one category.
What was, you have, I can't get into my internet here, but what was the resident and non-resident difference? It was 465 and 570?
yes, that's
Yeah,
correct.
465 and 570.
And
So if you split the difference and, you know, average out is 517 and then you add the 200 or
15%.
15% increase. And you're $600. You know,
Yeah, I got a little bit more, but yeah, so 600 would be fair. I think it actually comes out to like 655.
Yeah,
So if you want to do 625, and that's still the 15% increase.
yeah.
right now it stands at 58%.
Right.
Right. No.
So Mike, I would let me just do a reverse.
So,
If it's okay, Pat, I'll pull up the spreadsheet.
We'll put it right in.
And we can look at that again, and then we can try to see. What it looks like when we start to move some of those numbers, how it changes our revenue. No, this is always, it's interesting. Changes when I come over. Okay. So we're gonna go what was that last year?
It was for, force.
And then we're going
For-
25.
465, right? Okay. No?
I would
$4
put
grand.
under actual, I would put the 530.
That is the combined.
Yeah,
Here,
Yeah.
Yeah. no, come up, it's 15% will bring you to 625.
Anything else? So that right there, just based on our estimates, was only a $4,000 difference.
Had it from the repairs. We can see it.
Yeah, question.
It's gonna throw it at you.
Michael,
Yes, sir.
I'm done.
Okay,
My eyes are moving.
okay.
Yeah, sure.
The,
Now,
Well, actually, hang on a minute. When we have public participation in this meeting, it's my first.
there's special meeting,
That's the
public
problem.
can hand in written correspondence
Okay.
to be accepted by the chair. You have no public participation in a special meeting, and you cannot discuss anything but the one topic that is on the agenda. You can't say, oh, and try to tie this in or.
Okay.
Yeah. We got a scrap piece of paper there, and they can write something.
Right now,
I see some paper.
Write down the
I
question.
mean, it's a technicality.
So the extra, so. The actual on the senior 4-day, senior non-resident 4-day, that would be. Based off of our current senior. Well, it's restricted to after 12 holidays and weekends. So that's what that rate was based off of. Obviously, yes, you're taking some days away, but that's why that category didn't go up as much as, you know, the other categories that we had. And I would say the biggest reason for that change is because now you're offering this monthly 4-day, monthly 7-day, because that's what area courses are starting to do. So you need the time slots to accommodate that, you know, and how it is right now, we would be very hard pressed on Fridays, you know, weekends. You're adding this now senior unlimited to the weekend mix. You know, so that's, you know, the biggest issue there is why we decided to shrink it down to the 4 days. Now, if you wanna amend that to 4 days from Memorial Day to Labor Day, and have it unrestricted before those times, because that's typically the less busy times of the golf season, I think you wouldn't be shooting yourself in the foot doing that.
that's the kind of stuff that I can always work.
It's, you know,
Building that-
realistically, yeah, I mean, it would just create more of a tracking headache just from the logistics of how it goes. I just think that with what we're proposing, where the market's at, we're more than competitive. There's options, you know, if, you know, the increase hurts you financially, you do have the option to either go monthly. Or you could go with the 4-day and sacrifice one day and maybe play on Thursdays instead of Fridays. Typically, Tuesdays and Thursdays are our slowest days, so hopefully this will build up some revenue on those slower days. But that's the whole basis for it.
Okay, we did get some questions submitted.
Yep.
One of them per se is, right now we have a 4-day category up there. And we're comparing it to last year's, but last year's was a 5-day.
Yep.
So
I mean, you could,
I think we just need to explain. Yeah, we could remove it, we can make it a 5, but
no, I'm saying you could remove the rate you're comparing it to and just make it a new category.
NA on the unit cost, NA,
well,
or put it in parentheses like I did here, surcharge included was 1,100, so people aren't surprised when we're trying to make it a little bit more fair, the more you pay, the more you pay slightly. And by the way, before we forget to mention, I'm glad we remembered this. We are giving for the season pass holders, their cart rate's going to be slightly reduced. Because after getting some feedback, because you know there was a lot of people that were able to reach out to Marty, myself, and all of you. We were kind of penalizing, if you will, like we're trying to meet the sweet spot, right?
Yeah.
It's hard. Everybody's gonna be a little bit upset.
Right.
But here we can take a little bit of that edge off because we're curling back, because we were penalizing really somebody that would be spending a lot of money. Like a lot more than somebody else. So we said, well, thank you for coming all those times and swiping your card to use a card. Because your season's passed, we're going to take a little bit of the edge off for that.
And what is the edge that we're taking off? Is it that $10?
$2, I
Oh,
think.
$2.
Well, and so basically what it is if you. Paid for a cart this year, it was $10, if you remember. And you had surcharge included. Next year, obviously, surcharge included is off the table, so you're gonna be paying the additional money for the surcharge. And our cart rate's going up because we're getting all new carts and that fee went up astronomically. So instead of hurting your members that come in and ride and you're getting money from them, even though they paid the surcharge included, at least now you're not double whacking them, for the surcharge and the extra cart fee. Cause you look at that, now you join and you're still paying $28 to ride 18 holes.
Yeah, and I think we need just to keep in mind, right? Regarding, hey, we didn't have a rate for 4-day last year.
Mm-hmm.
The goal of this, I think, is that we're trying to align our rates with more market, with what's in the market, and also try to help improve our course. And we can't improve the course if we don't raise some of our revenue.
Bro, absolutely.
And that's what we're trying to do here. So I understand. I think that's the explanation as to why we're going from a 5 to 4. And so it's really not applicable is the right thing to put there. We don't have a rate to compare it to last year, but we're going from 5 to 4.
I mean,
and raising the rate.
And looking at the area courses, I think, for example, Western Hills for a senior is $700, plus they have to pay the surcharge, and they're restricted on weekends and holidays till after 12. Now we have an option that's not much more than that. You're unrestricted.
And I was gonna say,
and then we have an
option
option that's
is an
below
option.
it, and we have an option that's limited that's below it. Now you look at the daily fee costs of the Western Hills versus us, we're higher daily fee and their membership's higher than us in some categories. So that's kind of what we use to get, to these numbers. It wasn't just straight percentages. Obviously we looked at what our budget was, but that's kind of why you see a not a straight 15% across the board increase.
Right.
I would say we kind of looked at what the area courses are market wise.
And that kind of answers another question was why can't we apply the increases more evenly across all the groups?
Well, and you look at usage and you look at, it doesn't take a rocket scientist. We have about 200 members and we know that equates to, we have it on the chart here, but I believe it's $137,000. So you look at that and our highest membership costs are 13 and 1100. Well, clearly if you know math, 200, and 137, that means majority of your memberships are seniors and under that $1,000 category. Otherwise it'd be closer to $200,000 with 200 members. You look at the percentage of rounds, I would say is about 35% of our rounds is season pass rounds about, and I believe that equates to about 20% of our revenue. So that's where we're just trying to get closer to balancing it. And the other thing too is the feedback about the golf course, about this, about that. I'll be honest with you, the feedback from the daily fee golfer that's not a season pass holder has been phenomenal. They've said this is one of the best courses we played. Yeah, your tee boxes are beat up, but this course is using artificial tees right now because theirs are just as bad. Or I just played the player course at Lyman and their tee boxes were worse. I mean, very bad. They were small, so they, it's not the golf course's fault, per se, because it's an industry problem. the problem lies in the same thing that's saving us and getting our revenue. It was COVID brought in a ton of new golfers
Mhm.
that aren't the best. You know, sit out on the porch at Crestbrook and watch the first tee. You know, practice swings, you see a foot long divot go flying out, you know.
Mhm.
You look at our tee boxes, the most play we get is on our white tee boxes, they're beat up. You go back to the golds or the blues, they're not bad, so it's not the maintenance's fault. And lack of maintaining it or mowing it or whatever, because you could see from a gold blues back where we get probably 5% of our play is mint, you know? But who wants to play from 7,000 yards?
All right, another question submitted was, have your 2026 revenue models factored in the lost revenue from seniors and possibly leagues that leave as a result of the proposed rates?
Yes, we kind of did factor that in based on where the market is and where they're gonna be able to go for cheaper. You know, that's kind of what I mean, realistically, at these rates, even though there are a drastic increase. You look at the cost, we've gone up $160,000 or $155,000 in the last 2 years in our budget. We haven't really touched the rates to
Right.
reflect that.
Right.
You know, I think, yes, not raising the rates last year was an issue, but in the same sense, I think you've now created a trend where you can't raise the rates every year. So by doing this, I think we have a rate that we can hold for
Yeah, I think-
a year or two, or you know, and then adjust to the market, or you at least have a rate now that, you know, don't wanna say this, if the market does tank, you can now discount and not be totally giving yourself away, you know, you
Yeah.
can react to the market now.
Right.
So, you know, yes, there are some substantial changes here. Anytime you change anything, you're gonna get negative feedback. But I think what people are missing is the new classifications and what they can add to help get us to where we wanna be. I mean, we have 200 and 100 there, which you're like, that's a lot of members. That's not members, that's months sold. So when you think about that, that's 50 people buying 4-month member, you know, 4 months at a time or whatever it may be. It's not an astronomical number to get to. And then this, we've kind of, I would say, after this year with what we're seeing in revenue trends from the daily fee perspective, we continue to go up, you know, and I'll be honest, typically, even when golf starts to turn bad, public golf gets a peak because your private golfers are now utilizing public courses. So, you know, you'll see a actual really peak before it drops off. I don't think we're there yet. The market's still strong. Demand is still there.
All right, another question is about the cart rates, and you did explain that we offering.
Yeah, I mean, the
discount.
car
Yep.
race, yeah, they,
That's,
you know.
I think we know.
So.
Well, the
Last,
car rates too,
go ahead.
let's explain, last couple of years. We've got 10, well, I'm taking it back. This year we got 10, the year before we got 8 additional carts from Memorial Day to Labor Day. Okay, which wasn't figured in the cart rate thing. Now, okay, with the new contract with the carts, we added those 10 carts in. So we have 10 more additional carts, because we were running out, a lot of times Sunday afternoons was horrible, with running out of carts. So we've added 10 more into the contract, so they're available all the time.
And now you're not spending that in rentals, you know, to the company, third party, it's. And you're at a number that you should be for an 1804.
Which helps with larger tournaments, because that's 10 less now that we're bringing in to do the larger tournaments that we're paying for. Adds to the revenue of the course, so that, we looked at that.
I'm gonna go to this other question before the last one over here. Is there a plan to hold this increase, and can we expect an increase? Or can we expect an increase in the coming years? And I think you kind of touched upon that just a second ago. You said
Yeah,
we may not have to.
Well, let me comment on that a little bit.
Please.
So if we're going to continue to be transparent in this way. And if we want to budget for $1.5 million 2 years from now. And if we can't get any of these unit numbers up, then we are going to have to go up on the cost. So we've got, and I wanna give credit to the staff and to Marty.
Yeah.
For getting these numbers, it takes a lot of work to turn over carts and turn over people and to check people in. And book tournaments and do all the things that are involved with keeping these numbers up. So I don't wanna, I can't state that. That is up to really the other, our others, really that's the town council and others. So, but, and then the carts, we know the cart fees are going to have to go up.
Eventually, yeah.
We might be able to keep the passes okay, or fairly flat. And go up on the daily rates depending on the market. Right now, we're trying to stay under a certain number. Because we're afraid that if we go up, we're going to be competing with some golf courses that are probably have a little faster pace of play. The conditions may be a little bit different, so we don't wanna lose that. So that's not a question I think that we should be answered tonight.
The carts. You can hold now because you have a 3-year contract. The only thing with the carts that could be a cost driven factor a little bit would be the cost of gasoline.
Right.
Okay,
Yeah,
but gas has been pretty steady, so carts can remain for 3 years. No, another contract comes up. That's a lot figure to there for 3 years. Except if the gas goes up to $5 a gallon like California, then you have to make an adjustment.
The last question was regards to a multi-year step approach, and I think we did address that. We haven't had an increase in multiple areas. But our expenses have gone up. Correct me if I'm wrong.
100%.
And so we can't afford to do a smaller step and still try to meet our expenses and improve the golf course. Would that be a fair assessment?
Yeah, 100%, and like you've had emails talking about golf course conditions, you know.
Yep.
Well, it's kind of you get what you pay for.
Yeah.
You know, do you want them to improve? Well, they're not gonna improve on their own.
And we're hoping that maybe in the coming years, they won't be as drastic.
No,
They will not.
I personally think that, like Mike and I were saying, we've done a good market analysis at where we are right now. And I think that we could do some things, forget those variables in-house, maybe some changes like with the new credit card company or the new system we use, we could do a market analysis on credit cards and try and save costs there. There's other ways we could trim some fat without trying to get it all out of, the daily fee and the members.
And if we missed an opportunity, Marty and I are constantly trying to keep play robust. So we can also always run some specials depending on, that's gonna be down the road if we needed to.
Yeah, adjust to
Give
the
some
market,
incentive.
those. You have to have at least, a dedicated rate, you're like you're at the hotel and you got the max rate of the hotel door, right on the back of the door. You kind of need something to go based off of. We know about our average cost to us per round, just taking our budget divided by rounds, it's $28 to $30. For us to break even,
That's a good thing to know. So $28 is about what it costs the town to operate.
around.
Yeah.
So when people are figuring out how much they're going to invest to play at the course, if they're under $28, they're benefiting. They're being subsidized by people that are paying more.
And I just made a calculation, it's funny you say that. It was the $850 for the unlimited resident senior.
Yep.
At unlimited, that means they're not playing the standard 40 rounds or maybe playing 68.
Oh, more than that.
Well, I just used 60 and it came
I would
up
say,
$14 a round.
yeah, I would say your average, if you took your total average rounds per member, season pass member, they all do the math, so they know what they need to do to break even, otherwise they wouldn't join. I
Right.
wouldn't join, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you look at that, but then you look at what they're actually paying per round is $10, $8, $9, because And this was part of the reason why we didn't wanna hurt the person that's a season pass that rides every time, now you're gonna whack them twice. With a $4 surcharge and a $4 increase on the cart, now they're paying $8 extra, and I would be shocked by that, so I think this is a good way. To balance that and, maybe get more guys riding, that all that is additional revenue to help get to the improvements that we want.
I know this is a very small. A minimal amount of money overall, but let's say for the senior league specifically. We did the $10. Like you're saying, $10 for the pass holder. But for everyone that's on that golfs in the senior league, give them that $10 just for that league event during the year. It's a couple of bucks.
$10 each.
Yeah, so I mean, instead of them paying $12 for a season pass holder versus, I mean, again, it's not a lot of money, but I'm just trying to figure out, extend an olive branch a little bit and to knock a couple of bucks off if it makes a difference.
But I thought that was what was happening, maybe I
Well,
misunderstood.
see, it's a season pass holder, gets $10, but if you're not a season pass holder, you pay 12.
Correct, and I thought you wanted to give it to the senior pass holders.
No, I'm saying
Oh.
just the senior league, not the senior pass, but
Oh,
give it
just
to the
the
senior
senior
league.
league.
I don't know if that makes a difference or not, but I'm just trying to.
You can do specials and discounts, Marty has open range on anything like that.
Yeah, I just think you would be opening up, the door to say, why wouldn't it be like that every day?
And everybody's gonna,
And then we also didn't go up on any of the greens fees themselves, this was kind of like the way to do that.
No, just a thought, that's not.
yeah,
And another note that I have is that by having a surcharge for every player, every time they step on the course. We have people not coming to the pro shop, and that's bad practice. So by having this, and people having to check into the pro shop, that'll help us as we evolve to different business practices as we move forward.
And more accurate count around the golf.
Yes, 100%, because I'll be honest, I'm the first one to admit, our season pass rounds are definitely under reported. Because of that.
Okay, let's go over, yeah.
They go to the tee, and look, we're up on a hill, I get it, you don't wanna walk up there, like, I totally get it, but unfortunately. Unless we're gonna have a starter ranger on from open to close, it's, makes it very hard, because Ray has stuff going on in the course, he might text me in the day and say, hey, Marty, it's 9 o'clock. Shut down the 10th tee for an hour, I need to do something, so if we're not watching that tee every minute and somebody comes from the parking lot and hops out, then I get a call. I told you not to send it. I didn't send it anyway. It just went. So I think it'll just make it a better experience for everybody. They're not gonna be misdirected, getting yelled at for going off the wrong tee. And like from a reporting standpoint, I think it'll make life
Yeah,
easier.
it shouldn't be able to get onto a forest, and that's a function of what we have to do, and we have to put a shack.
Yeah, and even though like
Tent or something.
and guys, something happens to somebody, they call, hey, is so and so out there? I don't know, I didn't see him out here. Who knows, he could be laying in a bunker out there. But so I think it's it's gonna be another change that people won't really love, but it's necessary.
okay.
But I think at the end of the day, people are not gonna like this no matter what you do.
No, everybody's.
But-
That's why I
but-
think if you try doing it in an incremental stage,
But,
we're gonna deal with this every year.
but what's gonna happen is if you increase these rates the way we're presenting right now and do nothing to the course.
Yep. Oh, we already have.
We're gonna lose all credibility doing that.
That's right.
So especially with that money that Bill talks about all the time, what is it, 288,000 or 300,000, whatever it happened to be. I mean, that would do wonders. To show some good faith and get some things done.
Some little stuff that
I was gonna say
huge
that.
dollars that you can start doing, Michael's doing his, part to work on the council, town manager to come up with that money. But realistically, say that money never comes, we need some kind of plan to get to that point,
Right.
And you're 100% right, and that's my biggest fear, because I'm gonna be the one that's dealing with the feedback every day, And Michael and I are gonna go out probably next week, we discuss it and go over the golf course, see what things we can do with Ray. Yeah, with Ray, set out there and figure out what is some low dollar, kind of high impact stuff. So at least visually, you'll see a difference when you're playing that we could have. But yeah, I'm 100% with you, Joe. That's my biggest fear, because I'm gonna be the front person getting it all day. But like I said, the feedback for this year from the general public, the overall, atmosphere of the daily fee offer has been very positive. I think we're a good value, which that's why I personally feel we have to stay under that $75 rate. Because we're not quite there yet. Now going forward, maybe next year to raise rates, if we get the conditions better, we don't have to raise the daily or the members, we might be able to raise the daily fee because our conditions warrant that.
Alright, one of the questions that I think I missed, but I think we just touched on it, was have you factored in the roughly $300,000 profit Crestbook is owed? So that was the 288 that Joe and.
Yeah, I said 288, but that's right.
But that's the number.
Where is that owed from? I don't know.
Well, no, that's
The last 2 or 3 years.
That is not factored into
That's
that,
right.
but certainly it's going to be part of the narrative when we go to start picking away at.
Yes.
And if that is true, and if we do get that money, then that gives you a really head start next year.
Mm-hmm.
For your
I would
plan.
say it gives you a good head start. You'd be amazed how fast 280 grand would go on a golf cart.
But the important thing to note is we can't count on that
Right.
because we can't count on it. So
I mean, that's why
if we got it, that's great.
And that's just great, that's extra bonus, but from right now, we have to see what we could do for $5 grand of impact play, what we could do for 10 grand. And hopefully we budget accordingly and include these improvements into our budgets going forward. Because that was never really done before, it was kind of just based off of what you did for revenue the year before, that's what we're gonna kind of make the budget.
And then the last thing,
Let me, there's some history behind all of this so everybody understands. Okay, years ago, okay, before anybody on this commission was on the subcommittee or the full commission. And one time it was over $600,000 in the surcharge account. 300,000 of it was spent for paving the car patch. Okay, well, at that time, that's when town council started this $43,000 a year administrative fees, and they chipped away at it. Okay, the importance of the enterprise fund. To show that it's an enterprise fund, the town council legally cannot do that if this is a true enterprise fund. But that money can't be rated like they were fixing the pool, putting the tennis courts in. Now, the surcharge, okay, needs to be set the way it was before. That the surcharge was specifically set in the budget for improvements.
Yeah.
Okay, if you had to go to other things for your budget, you needed to find the cut, the trim and stuff like that. But we haven't been able to start that because we had a deficit at at $43,000 a year. The recession of 2008, raising the rates, some categories 42 to 43% in 2010. The town charging Crestbrook and Crestbrook only for the benefits of the employees and retirees, all created a debt that went up to over $660,000. We've reduced that debt down. Right now, these figures we're waiting for the last 2 to 3 years was right at the cusp of the deficits paid off. Now we're making money that we can start putting into the course. Well, when your finance department can't tell you that you've got money to spend, you ain't spending it in government.
Right.
So you know that you've got that money. So we're lingering and languishing here where we know, based on our figures, it starts with Marty. From Marty goes down to a bookkeeper, Jess here, goes upstairs. Everything, that's all accounted for. Okay, but they can't release it because it wasn't put in proper accounts. When we get this thing up and running, so we don't get in this situation again, it's up to everybody in this room to make sure that that surcharge is meant for capital improvements on the course. The tee boxes, sand traps.
Yeah.
Marty said last meeting. The irrigation pumps. Not quite as old as me and Craig and you guys, but
Pretty cool.
we rank up there, we, those years. Okay, they're gonna need to be replaced. Okay, but, so that's the problem we're talking, I just did some figures. The $280,000 that Joe was talking about was for the last 3 years. Projected this year, which projection keeps going up because the weekends are good. Sunday doesn't look too good, but Saturday looks like a good golf day. Right now you have another 102,000 or so. So right now, projected profit money that we should have is about $382,000. But we don't have it. If we don't have it, can't count on spending a penny of it until that's finally cleared through the finance department, and you're all aware of the problems that we have with finance. They're in town meetings and stuff like that. Okay, that common practices weren't filed. Okay, one thing I'm still gonna try to do is we're still paying 50% of the benefits and stuff for the only budget that does that. Water and Sewers Enterprise Fund. 100% of their employee benefits and retiree benefits are in the regular account that the rest of the town shares. I'm still trying to work on that, which again, that goes to revenue. On the bottom line, comes to the revenue. So we talk about it, yeah, guys, I'm not gonna give up. I'm going after it. I want that money back because at one time, when we said, well, why don't we just zero the deficit, knowing you took $941,000. And I was flatly told, no, you have a deficit, you gotta pay every penny back to the general fund. Well, it's been floated to me, and my reply was, no, the golfers earned it, they deserve to have it back into the course. And the course also, believe it or not, the work that Ray does up there benefits the town because they're taking care of Parks&Rec items, mowing around the tennis courts and the pool, stuff like that, taking care of things up there. So the town does benefit because it's a park first. It's a golf course at a park, not a golf course with a park. It's the other way around. So the town does derive some type of benefits from the golf course.
Yeah, I just wanna be conscious of time.
Yep, all right, yeah, but I got.
Go ahead.
Then, how does this get presented to the town council? Does that say surcharge per round?
It does.
What do they say? What does the
Well,
town council
yes, it
say?
does. I'm sorry, so we're projecting,
Yeah, no, I don't, I'm stuck on the wording,
yeah,
okay?
yeah,
Take that freaking surcharge per round out of there. And put down golf course capital improvement surcharge. Or some, because what happens here, I'm listening to Bill and I'm fuming over here because that surcharge should have never, ever been used to pay off anything. That surcharge should have been going into a fund to fix the golf course and to do improvements in the golf course. So basically, we're screwing these guys because we're telling them that it's gonna be X amount of dollars per round, and you're gonna pay a $4 surcharge. Well, just raise the damn rate by $4, because that's essentially what's happening. That $4 is not being used for anything other than to pay the salaries and stuff like that. That has to be an independent line item, and that money has to be put into some type of capital improvement fund.
Call it a course capital.
Something
Surcharge.
Because
the
no-
word surcharge, but say improvement.
It's-
You can put parentheses, surcharge per round, parentheses, course capital.
I would just change the whole thing, though. I would just say capital improvement surcharge.
Surcharge in, because that's what
Yeah,
it is.
capital improvement surcharge.
Yes.
Okay, so people know exactly what it is. I mean, it's just,
But it still goes back to, we got to find out the legal status of the enterprise fund, because if they come out and say it's not an enterprise fund, then guess what?
but Bill, that,
Town council.
but that doesn't matter. If that surcharge is to fix the golf course, I don't give a shit what enterprise fund or not. It's built into the budget that we're gonna get
Right,
round number $60,000
Right.
for course improvements.
so they.
And that's
can't
built
keep
into
that.
the budget.
but I have to go on the record of saying, as long as this number right here is too close to the budget number, I would be reluctant to be making any promises about what exactly the surcharges are for. There's also probably an argument for people to say the surcharge is really also to create fairness. The more you play, the more you pay. We have no other vehicle of doing that.
Then just raise the rates again.
Well, that's, you know,
To me, Mike, there has to be a carve out so people know exactly that surcharge, there's a purpose for that surcharge. It's not there just to line somebody's pocket.
So,
It's there for a specific purpose, and that is to put the money back into the golf course.
so they're not taking or using our money any longer, right?
yeah.
We don't know until we get the final figures of the profits and everything to say that we've had profit. We've had the figures I can go back and chase that without going anybody in finance, okay, was 2023. The budget was 809, we made 895, $85,000 difference profit. Okay, 2024, 25. But budget was 819,000. Revenues were 923. It was 103,000.
But that much, so that profit, if you will, was used to pay down the debt though.
No, that's after the number that we have, the debt's already been paid
That
down.
we think, because they have to
Yeah.
confirm it still.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're
Okay, thank you.
somewhere in the 21-22 season,
All right.
okay, the debt was paid off. Debt was paid off. Why we need this from?
Is that on record that the debt was paid off?
That's what we're trying to get them to tell us.
Yeah.
That's what we're trying to get them to pay, and say this is the debt. It's-
How did you come to that conclusion?
Let's talk about that.
But are we in agreement that we need to change the wording on that?
I think so.
So the capital improvement,
If anything,
surcharge,
if,
course improvement.
yeah, if anything, at least it's clearer to whoever we were sharing it with.
But that's the way it was set up originally in the enterprise fund. That's why it's so important to get that cleared up. Because it was already set up, what you guys are talking about. That, the surcharge back then, that's what I said, it was up to $600,000.
Yeah, but it was only
And
used, so.
300, approximately half was used for a course improvement. The paving for the course was taken out of that surcharge tank.
Okay,
But then after that,
it's changed. Okay,
That gets changed, it'll have an account number that you can follow.
and
Right.
are there any other items on there that we didn't review? We reviewed the senior, the military. Monthly pass 4-day, this is a new item. Monthly-
I'm gonna put NA here, is that correct?
Yeah, I think we said that.
NA for this too?
Yes. Cause we never had a 4-day before. Okay, but the monthly pass 4-day, that's a new item, okay, monthly, and we're saying, okay, we'll charge $150 for that. Monthly unlimited, $225. Unlimited, so that means somebody could buy that every month, pay $225 and play whenever they want.
Correct. Plus the surcharge and the car.
Plus the surcharge and the.
Yep.
So what's daily fees?
What do you mean daily?
What does it mean? Yeah, it's up there, $500,000.
Which that's what we bring in for daily fee right now. For our greens fee revenue.
People that don't have a pass, non-pass.
So our non-pass related
Okay.
income, the greens fees is.
So should we explain that a little bit better than just daily fees? So Mark, I'm talking to, this is gonna go to people that aren't familiar with the golf course.
Yeah. So.
And so-
Greens fees.
Oops, I don't like that.
Daily green fees,
I mean, in parentheses say non-pass related
non-pass related, yeah.
the military will no longer have,
restriction. Or one will no longer have resident and non-resident, there's just one military.
okay, we're eliminating the juniors. Okay,
Yeah,
we're eliminating the family.
yeah,
And what was the other fourth one I said down there?
executive or keeping, that was it.
Okay, all executive rates we're keeping. Which means now. Okay, the document that goes to the town council. Is gonna be in front of me because I go to that meeting. when the town council has to approve this. So if there's any questions, I have a way of schmoozing them. Should have been a politician. But. This document that we're gonna approve tonight should include any of that information. So when you see that we've eliminated some categories. Okay, some categories have stayed the same. They're gonna ask, well, why didn't you raise that? Yeah, but we can tell them for the most part, all the categories have been raised. There's new categories. But when I break it down. And give it to them. Document that we. Approved tonight. Or vote, I should say approve up and vote on. I'm not gonna have them saying vote on.
Yep.
Okay. Needs to have that information on it because this is what they're gonna get in their pet. And it answers questions way ahead of time. Just makes the process all that much easier.
So we're adding the executive now.
Yeah. Whatever the executive rates, and you could put an asterisk, have not been raised,
I think.
previous rates.
Cause it might open up, worms.
Don't put it on.
No, I was talking to Joe, I'm like, maybe it might be better if we didn't put it on there, so it doesn't.
Because it's not changing, yeah, I would say
Right.
because it's not changing.
You're asking the town council. To approve the rates. Are they the rates?
Then you know what, I wouldn't put it up in the yellow, just put it below saying, these have been considered.
Yellow is what we're talking about right now, that, anything on here. Shouldn't be in yellow. Should be just straight black and white for what they get in their packet. Yellow is for our edification.
Yeah.
Yellow, completely gone, eliminate the yellow. Yeah, this is what they're gonna look at, so now you put executive up there.
And I'll try to summarize what you had said, Bill,
Yeah.
about the trend of what the budget was for 23, 24, 25.
Yeah.
What the revenues were.
To be honest with you, if this is mine in the back of on the town council, most of them.
Well,
When they hear
south.
when they hear that we're raising the rates, that thinking, yes, we have raised the rates in some categories. That's music to their, getting more money. The depth of it. We know.
It's gonna be a rough budget season.
Yeah. I would have been okay if you lumped it all under executive passes. Cause you're gonna put 0, right? Or
For what?
how are you going to report on that?
I'm just gonna put 25 and 26 costs the same as last year. So.
Oh, got it, yeah.
Right.
For us to vote on this in the to save time. You can just put all executive rates will remain the same as 2025. Then come back later for the document going to them and put all the numbers in. For what we're voting on, you can just put executive tax rates will remain the same. That's what we're voting on tonight. And say in
As
the
amended with the.
and then when that document goes to the town council for the packet, then you can go back and do all the individual rates.
If there is rent,
One line item, executive capacity upset.
Yeah, and we don't get.
Junior rates have been eliminated.
I think you figured.
College rates, you said, college rates. Are eliminated.
Cause you have the monthly.
Yeah, you got the monthly options, right? You don't have to put that in, and then you could put on and the family rate, so you can put those. One line, those have been eliminated. Cut down and interest of bookkeeping, makes bookkeeping a little easier, less categories.
Simplification.
This is another.
Well, while they're updating that, let me just address this one common question that we had. Was attrition factored in? And yes, we did. What, like, if we might, by raising the rates, there's a possibility that we're gonna lose people, and I think we did that, and we talked about that earlier.
Was there a percentage, Marty, you guess, was there anything you can?
I figured worst case 20%, you know, realistically, if we're at the point now, and I don't wanna sound, you know. Cocky or whatever, but golf's in a situation right now where there is a daily fee person that would come in and offset that, you know, we're kind of at our max as far as rounds that the course can handle. I mean, you already see it based on the conditions. So it's a fine line, and you know, you look at the neighbor up north at Fairview, it's $89 this year. I guarantee next year it's gonna go up even more there. Because the play is still going up, you know, and I know the philosophy there is a rounds that he wants to accomplish, you know, so if he could accomplish the same amount of rounds and get more money for it, that's what they're gonna do. That's not our mindset being a
Now what
municipal
we're
golf
trying to
course,
do,
it's not
our
what
model
we're
is
trying
much
to do.
different.
You know, we're not a private sector trying to build our bank account the most we are. We're trying to provide, you know, an affordable entry, you know, level golf course. That's, you know, reflecting conditions based on our rates, you know.
And we have a responsibility as a Parks and Recreation Commission to have all of our resources be affordable for everybody. We don't wanna price anybody out of it.
Right, this is not an independent course.
So you've already looked at a certain geographic area and figured out no one's gonna beat us substantially based on these new rates.
No, and to be quite honest with you, we're competitive with municipal golf courses that aren't enterprise funds. So for us to even be in the realm of those courses is actually pretty, you know, commendable to us. Because we're not getting every taxpayer's, you know.
We're not subsidized by.
We're not subsidized by
True.
that. So the fact that we're able to be in that category of courses that are fully subsidized, I think that says something to what we're doing.
East Mountain and Western Hills are 100% subsidized by the
Timberland is
whatever the
subsidized.
deficit is, it's picked up by the town.
Okay. Did you finish updating that?
Yeah, I just
Okay.
executive pass still
Yep.
seeing family
Look.
junior college are eliminated.
Gotcha.
The numbers I threw together quick here, okay, with the season pass around 18%, season pass non-residents 15%. Okay. Seniors now with what we're doing, are about 13%, was down from 25 to 29, so I think that's equitable.
Yeah, and Michael knows the reason the non-resident, and again, this goes back to that, we're an enterprise fund.
Yep.
You know, so, and also, who's gonna play more rounds, the resident or the non-resident? So I'm never a huge, you know, supporting of really penalizing your residents from driving farther from, you know, out of town to play your golf course.
Mhm.
Um,
Okay. Alan,
Motion to adjourn.
no, do you have any questions? I like that. Do you have any questions?
I'm gonna take a vote now to send.
No, I'm just talking about any questions before we take a vote.
No,
Joe. Okay, so I'd like to make them, I can make a
We
motion.
can make a motion.
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion to accept the proposed 2025-2026 golf rates. And bring it to the full commission for a vote.
second.
Okay, any, take your vote. I forgot the term.
He seconded it,
Yeah,
all those in favor?
all those in favor, thank you.
Aye.
Aye.
Is it unanimous, okay,
Objections,
And
abstentions?
abstentions? Okay, it's unanimous. We'll bring it forward.
Second.
Yeah.
motion to adjourn.
Almost.
Vote.
Need a vote.
Take a vote. All in favor? Aye.
Who moved to adjourn?
No.
Okay.
I second.
Okay, no objections, no abstains, abstentions.
Shut the camera.
Thank you, everyone, for
Thank you, guys.
coming, participating. Thanks for your questions.
Sorry.
Michael, chance to
Yeah.
sit down.
Mhm.
I think we're good.
Give you a chance, Michael, I'm sure you have everything all set up, it's pretty simple, okay? I am gonna call this special meeting of the Watertown Parks and Recreation Full Commission to order at 6:15 PM. And little note, I was told that all these years I've been doing it wrong, October 9th. I should be also mentioning the date, even though we have it written down. I'm supposed to be saying the date. Okay. Roll call, please.
Al Mitchell,
Joe McGrath.
Abernathy,
Bill Johnston. Okay, we're here for the purpose of active agenda item, discuss and take action on the 2026 golf rates and green fees. These have been forwarded from the subcommittee meeting that was held at 5:00 PM, October 9th, by the golf course subcommittee. I make a motion that we accept the proposed rates for the 2025 golf season as proposed by the Crestbrook Golf Course Subcommittee Commission.
I'll second that motion.
Because Pat Rinaldi seconds it.
forgot where it was.
Al,
Is there any further discussion, comments, or questions on those proposed rates? If there is none, then put it to a vote. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Any abstentions? None?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Okay,
I'm asleep tonight.
Yeah.
Oh, I second.
second it.
All you want anything.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Nobody? Any abstentions? Motion carried. Thank you. These would be the rates proposed consent to the town council.
What time is it? Six,
17.
And German at 6:18.
What is this?
Right, I was just